How many times do I need to repeat? I just cannot focus because right now I'm making this video, and at the same time, let me show you guys real quick. Oh my god. We are invading their zone, and I'm also trying to make a video. How about that? As you guys can see on the left, today we are going to discuss top 4 open field marches in Rise of Kingdoms right now. And not only that, we will also discuss their best equipment, but it's not going to be extremely high spending level. It's going to be just, optimal, best items, best equipment pieces for each slot, and very good value for your materials. Then we will discuss the best accessories for those marches. And after that, I will give you guys the best possible 5th pair depending on your main troop type. Without further ado, let's go.
Spartans! What is your profession?
As an infantry simp, I had to talk about Guan Yu and Scipio first. I think this march is amazing. The only possible con of this march is they are slightly squishy because both of these commanders doesn't provide a lot of tankiness. But what they have is they have AoE damage, they have debuff, they have silence, they have march speed. It's crazy. The skill damage is crazy. They simply just have everything other than some tankiness, but still one of the best march in Rise of Kingdoms for open field right now. I did use this march extensively in this latest KVK. It was against 846. Great kingdom, and I will make a video probably within a week where we talk about my experience of the KVK, which marches performed best, which equipment was better than the other, how many kills we got, and how did we get those kills, mainly using T-Force. So consider subscribing if this is something that you are interested on. This is our march number 1, Guan and Scipio, and this equipment is, I think, as I said at the start of the video, extremely material efficient. We have no attack, we have 41% defense and 21% health. Obviously, we would like to have more health, but this is the highest that we can get. Horn of Fury is definitely amazing on this march because what you want to do with these two commanders is to cast your active skill as much as you can, so you can get those debuffs and silences and crazy AoE damage from both Guan and Scipio. And Ring of Doom is also another great accessory. Now let's move on to march number 2. Our march number 2 shouldn't be a big surprise. Nevsky paired with Prime Joan of Arc. 100% go with Nevsky primary instead of Joan of Arc primary. We can make an in-depth video on that topic later on, but right now just know that Nevsky primary is better than Joan. Now our equipment is again very efficient, and the main thing on this equipment, just like the infantry one, is value for your materials. I think this is amazing. These 4 pieces are the best epics for cavalry in my opinion, and we have legendary set helm, legendary set boots to get that 2% set bonus so that you can get that 3% extra health. In total, we only have 4 attack that's coming from glows, 39% defense, 25% health, and I think when you have this equipment, you are ready to craft your accessories. And again, it is Ring of Doom and Horn of Fury. Just like Guan Yu and Scipio, Nevsky and Joan can also benefit from Horn of Fury and Ring of Doom immensely. A lot of people did try, not having that Horn of Fury or not having that much rage gen, so that you can cast your skills every 10 seconds or so, because Joan of Arc's 4th skill, which makes her cast her skill twice, has 10-second cooldown, so that you are getting that double skill cast every single time you cast a skill. Having Horn of Fury and High Rage regen, and she not being able to cast her active skill twice every single time, every single skill cycle, is actually better than that 10 plus seconds skill cycle. Legendary set helm, legendary set boots, 4 epic pieces for cavalry, all special talented. Let's go to our 3rd march. Boudica YSG, this is also our latest addition to our commander arsenal, our marches. I'm using Boudica YSG right now. I did use it in this KVK. My Boudica is right now is only 5551, but still she's performing quite good, and we will compare it to the expertise version in our next KVK so that I can give you guys an actual comparison between 5551 version and expertise version. Again, very efficient equipment, 4 epic pieces, 2 legendary pieces. This time we are getting 2 pieces set bonus from legendary set for that extra 3% troop attack, and also 2 pieces set bonus from that revival set, which also gives extra 3% troop attack. We have Golden Age, Revival Helm, Revival Legs, and Flame Threads. 13.5% attack. The 50% of this attack is coming from 2 pieces set bonuses from your epic set and your legendary set. 37.5% defense and 18.5% health. I think this is an amazing gear. And again, we have Ring of Doom and Horn of Fury. And if you are wondering, Spartan, are we only going to use Ring of Doom and Horn of Fury? Just wait for march number 4. But before that, if you guys think any information was useful or helpful so far, please hit the like, hit the subscribe. Only takes 1 second, but helps the channel more than you think. Thank you, and now let's move on to our march number 4. At spot number 4, we have another cavalry march. It is XY paired with William. Now, this march is the true definition of glass cannon. They don't have any type of defense whatsoever, but this march can dish out so much damage just in a few seconds, in a blink of an eye, thanks to XY's low rage requirement. If you guys didn't know, majority of commanders in Rise of Kingdoms requires 1000 rage to cast their active skill, but XY, he only requires 850. 150 difference may not seem too much, but in open field, it makes a lot of difference because casting your active skill before everyone else is kind of huge. So yeah, XY definitely deserves a spot in our top 4 open field pairs. And William is not just a great commander, but he's also one of the best 5-5-5-1 commanders in Rise of Kingdoms. So he's good for every single budget. He's good for free-to-plays. He's good for high spenders. An amazing, super useful commander. And especially his buffs when you hit that AoE is crazy. So XY William is hands down one of the best marches, one of the best open field marches in Rise of Kingdoms. We have the same equipment that we use on Nevsky and Joan of Arc, so I don't need to talk about that. But accessories. Now this time, instead of Horn of Fury, again, we have a Ring of Doom, but this time we have a dagger. Now, why do we have only one dagger and we have it specifically on this march? Concealed dagger, unlike Horn of Fury and Ring of Doom, it doesn't boost, it doesn't buff your own march. What it does is it debuffs the enemy. And if something is debuffing the enemy, you can only apply it from one source. So even if you had 4 concealed daggers, you wouldn't be applied 4 times on top of each other because it only applies from one source. But of course, there are some benefits of having more than one dagger because it has a chance to apply that debuff. So if you have more daggers, you are mathematically increasing that chance to apply that debuff to the enemy march. And since you are increasing your chances to apply that debuff, this means you can increase the uptime of debuff because Concealed Dagger stacks up to 3 times with each stack lasting 3 seconds. So if you hit an enemy with marches that have Concealed Daggers more than 1, you are increasing the chances to keep that uptime even longer. But the thing is, since you can only apply it from one source, having more Concealed Daggers is kind of waste. Instead of that, you want to have more Ring of Dooms, you want to have more Horn of Furies, because you will have more Concealed Daggers, other Concealed Daggers on your other allies. You are not fighting on the field alone. This is not a single player game, this is a team game. So you know that you will have other Concealed Daggers to have those benefits that we just mentioned. And when it comes to the reason why we are using Concealed Dagger on this march specifically is because of the thing that I've already mentioned, XY's low rage requirement. Burika YSG, you want to cast that active skill as much as you can. Nevsky Joan, again, Guan CPO again. But of course, you do want to cast your active skill as much as you can with your XY and William too. But since XY has 850 rage requirement, you don't really need a Horn of Fury. And that's why he is the perfect commander to use that free slot for a Concealed Dagger instead of Horn of Fury. We have other marches from other troop types where you can use Concealed Dagger. For example, for archers, you can use it on Artemisia Tomiris because they don't care about rage regen. They actually hate that rage regen because you want to cast your skills as slow as possible when you have Tomiris to apply more debuff. And that's why that march could be perfect to use your Concealed Dagger. And when it comes to your infantry, I think Herald and Alex pair is a great march to use your Concealed Dagger because yes, you do want to cast your active skill. Both their active skills are really good. But the thing is, Herald can cast his active skill basically anytime. He doesn't need full rage to cast his active skill. And Alexander, his main damage is not coming from active skill, it's coming from his passive skill. So you don't really care that much, at least not as much as these 3 marches, to get that 1000 rage as soon as possible. So as I said, it's a great march to use your dagger. Now we will discuss possible 5th pairs depending on your main troop type. Let's go. Our first 5th pair is coming for infantry. And we have 2 options. We can either just go for Herald Alex as our 5th pair. It's a great march. I am using it. I have Herald Alex both max and I'm using this exact combination. I like using Herald primary rather than Alexander primary, and this was actually recommended by one of you guys, one of our subscribers, told me to try Herald primary a few months ago. I gave it a shot and I loved it. So please, if you have any suggestions, any recommendations, leave that in the comment section. I read every single comment and I will look into your suggestions obviously if it is logical. Now our second option, wait, what? Our second option, we split that Guan Yu and CPO, and now we go for Guan and CJ, CPO and Alex. I did put this as our second option because not many people have CJ, but if you do, I think Guan CJ is a crazy march. The damage they deal is absurd, and I did actually try Alexander and CPO in this KVK, and I loved it. They did actually perform a lot better than I expected. Our fourth march would be Guan Yu and CJ, and fifth march, oh my god. Fifth march, CPO primary, Alexander secondary. Now let's move on to our possible fifth march for archers. Again, we have two different options. Option number one is to just go for Henry and Nebu. I know Henry is mainly a rally commander, but when you take a look at his skills, they're actually really good for open field, and I know that Henry performs really well because I've talked to some of our members who has max Henry already, and they were using him for rallies and open field, and they're actually really liking it. Yes, he doesn't have that AoE damage, he doesn't have a buff or debuff, but he does have a lot of damage taken reduction, and a lot of stats. But we have another option, and that option is, this time we are doing the exact same thing what we did here. Here we did split Guan Yu and CPO, and this time we are going to split our Boudica and YSG, and we are going to pair our Boudica with Artemisia, and our fifth march we will either go for Henry and Yisong or Nebu and Yisong. I always try to include Yisong because a lot of people do have a max or a 5551 Yisong, so a lot of us did invest on Yisong, and that's why you should include him if you can for your open field marches, because nobody wants to waste 690 sculptures, so it's better if we can just utilize him and benefit from him. Last but not least, our fifth possible march, this time for cavalry. Again, we are going to split that XY and William. We have either XY and Honda, but if you don't have the sculptures, Honda is definitely, like, he's a really good secondary to pretty much any commander in Rise of Kingdoms, but he's not a great investment for free-to-plays and low spenders, and that's why if you don't have the sculptures to invest on Honda Tadakatsu, alternatively, you can use XY and Mehmet as your fourth march, and your fifth march is going to be either Chandragupta and William. But if you have already invested on Saladin, a 5551 Saladin, then you can for sure go for a Saladin primary and William secondary. You can even use both of them as 5551. I think it's a super efficient free-to-play / low spender march. People still use this march in Season of Conquest KVKs all the time, so you cannot go wrong with a Saladin William. The better option in my opinion is Chandragupta and William, but just like CJ, not many people have Chandragupta, and that's why we had to put an alternative. And as I said, Saladin William is still great. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This was our top 4 open field marches, their best budget gear, best accessories, and possible fifth march. And as always, a special thank you to our channel members, Victor, Gypsy Danger, Elois, Brian Gensler, Fedatos, Manu Bear, Lego, Kyle, and Wavy Thang. Thank you guys so much for your huge support. I see you guys on the next one. And here you can find our latest Legendary Commander tier list in Rise of Kingdoms. Make sure to check it out and consider subscribing if you haven't done yet. Thank you and bye.